In the heart of the United States lies a vast caldera known as the Yellowstone Supervolcano. This geological marvel has captured the imagination of many and sparked concerns about its potential dangers. At an astonishing 43 by 28 miles, it is so vast that it can be seen from space. Imagine standing on the edge of this colossal chasm and feeling the earth tremble beneath your feet. The sheer size and scale of the Yellowstone caldera leave visitors in awe. These features are a result of the geothermal activity that occurs beneath the park. In addition to the geysers and hot springs, there are other signs that the volcano is active, such as earthquakes. The Yellowstone region is one of the most seismically active places in the United States. Most of these earthquakes are small and go unnoticed. But occasionally, a larger earthquake will occur and can be felt throughout the park. As I mentioned earlier, there are plenty of earthquakes, geysers, and hot springs that indicate that the volcano is alive and well. The ash could also cause the soil to become less fertile, making it difficult to grow food. There would also be an increase in volcanic gases, which could lead to acid rain. Acid rain could damage forests and lakes, making them uninhabitable for some species. The gases could also cause respiratory problems for humans and animals. According to the USGS, there have been no significant changes in seismic activity, ground deformation, or gas emissions at Yellowstone in the past year. As I mentioned earlier, these events happen so infrequently that we simply don't know how often they occur. However, scientists do know that the last super-eruption happened about 640,000 years ago. That means that if a super-eruption were to happen today, it would be the first one in over 600,000 years. In fact, seismic activity has been relatively low compared to previous years. The USGS takes the safety of visitors to Yellowstone very seriously and has developed a comprehensive plan in case there is ever a volcanic eruption. The plan includes evacuating the park and surrounding areas, as well as providing medical care to those who have been affected by the eruption. And the answer is probably no. Again, according to the USGS, there is no indication that the volcano is getting ready to erupt. Even if it did erupt, the chances of it being a super-eruption are very low. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos about the Yellowstone Supervolcano. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Of course, it's always wise to be prepared for anything, but you shouldn't let the possibility of a super-eruption keep you up at night. The USGS also works closely with local officials to ensure that everyone is prepared in the event of an eruption. With proper monitoring and planning, we can coexist with this giant and enjoy the beauty of Yellowstone National Park. This is good news because it means that there are no signs that the volcano is getting ready to erupt. So if it did erupt, what would happen? Well, it depends on the severity of the eruption. Pyroclastic flows are fast-moving currents of hot gas and ash that flow down the side of a volcano. Well, according to experts at the United States Geological Survey, or USGS, we don't have anything to worry about. They closely monitor Yellowstone and have yet to see any signs that indicate an eruption is imminent. In fact, they say that the chances of a super-eruption happening in our lifetime are extremely low. They can reach temperatures of up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit and travel at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. Scientists use a variety of methods to monitor Yellowstone, including seismic activity, ground deformation, and gas emissions. By monitoring these things, they can get a sense of what's happening beneath the surface of the volcano. If they notice any changes, they can take steps to alert the public and potentially evacuate the area. If a pyroclastic flow were to occur at Yellowstone, it would destroy everything in its path. If it's a small one, then we might see some increased seismic activity, more earthquakes, and maybe even some new hot springs or geysers. However, if it were a large eruption, then we would have to worry about volcanic ash falling on nearby towns and cities. For example, in 1985, a magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck near Yellowstone and was felt as far away as Los Angeles. Earthquakes are a normal part of the volcano cycle and are usually not a cause for concern. The hot springs are created when water from the park's rivers and lakes seeps into the ground and is heated by the magma that's below the surface. The water then rises back to the surface and creates a hot spring. Geysers, on the other hand, are created when steam from the hot springs condenses and forms ice crystals. When these crystals build up inside the geyser, they create pressure that eventually causes the geyser to erupt. Its depths hold secrets of past eruptions and the power of nature, reminding us of the forces that shaped our planet. The caldera is a testament to the awesome power of the Earth and serves as a reminder of the forces that shape our world. In this video, we will discuss whether or not we are due for an eruption of this mighty volcano. What does the science say? Well, first of all, it's important to note that the Yellowstone Supervolcano has been dormant for about 640,000 years. That's a long time. However, it's not to say that it won't erupt again, because it certainly has in the past. The Yellowstone caldera is a massive crater formed by the collapse of the Earth's crust after a volcanic eruption. The magma chamber grew for hundreds of thousands of years before erupting violently. The second super-eruption occurred around 1.3 million years ago and was similar to the first. However, it was slightly smaller. The third super-eruption occurred around 630,000 years ago and was even smaller than the second. All three eruptions were highly explosive and resulted in the formation of the Yellowstone caldera. Each of these events had a major impact on the surrounding environment, and it's likely that the next one will too. Yellowstone National Park is home to more than just bison and geysers. The park is also home to a supervolcano. In fact, it sits atop the Yellowstone caldera, which is one of the largest volcanic centers on Earth. While most people think of volcanoes as tall, pointy mountains, the reality is that there are many different types of volcanoes. Supervolcano is a massive volcano that has had an eruption magnitude of 8 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index, or VEI, and the Yellowstone Supervolcano has had 3 such eruptions in the past. The first super-eruption occurred around 2 million years ago and was caused by a magma chamber that was created when the North American plate moved over a hotspot. As you probably know, Yellowstone National Park is famous for its beautiful geysers and hot springs. But this geothermal activity isn't just a natural wonder, it's actually a sign that the volcano is alive and active. So while Yellowstone may be famous for its geysers and hot springs, it's important to remember that these features are a sign of the volcano's activity. Now let's talk about what happens if the Yellowstone supervolcano erupts again. In fact, there are signs that the volcano is currently active. This ash could cause respiratory problems for those who breathe it in and damage crops and livestock. Finally, there would be the danger of pyroclastic flows. So what does the science say about the likelihood of a super-eruption happening anytime soon? However, they do admit that it's impossible to predict when a super-eruption will occur because they happen so infrequently. Let's take a look at the current activity at Yellowstone. You might be wondering, how often does the volcano erupt? And the answer is that it's impossible to say. While the thought of a super-eruption is scary, it's important to remember that it's very unlikely to happen in our lifetime. So while the idea of a super-eruption is scary, it's important to remember that there are people who are working to keep us safe. Now let's answer the question: should you be worried about the Yellowstone supervolcano erupting? The Yellowstone supervolcano is a powerful force of nature that should be respected, but it shouldn't be feared. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the Yellowstone supervolcano.